everyone, welcome back to my channel. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. Today guys, I'll be checking out this interesting video from Ben Shapiro, and it's titled Kamala's Anti-Masculinity Campaign is Backfiring. You guys, I'm excited for this, and without much ado, let's see what Ben Shapiro has for us in this video.
Folks, Kamala Harris has a problem. Blue-collar white dudes in the swing states of Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan are running scared from her campaign. Like Joe Biden running scared from Joe after realizing she's now milked him for everything he's worth.
No, I don't want you, I don't want you, I don't want you, I don't want you.
The Kamala campaign is countering by trotting out such masculine icons as Tim Walz, the weirdest goofball in America, a man with hands so floppy he looks like Gumby come to life, or like an inflatable tube man outside a used car dealership.
Wow.
And don't forget the manic mannerisms that make Pee Wee Herman look like the Dalai Lama. Oh yes, they're also trotting out Doug Emhoff, the new paragon of masculinity, who, come to think of it, feels a lot like the old 1950s male stereotype that leftists love to envision. He reportedly hit on his secretary, smacked around his ex-girlfriend, knocked up his nanny, and paid for her abortion. He's basically the Don Draper of schmuck-looking attorneys, now masquerading as a submissive house sitter. So men aren't into the Kamala. And that's a problem, because it turns out that blue-collar white men in swing states are a heavy constituency. Fortunately for Kamala, she's come up with an amazing media strategy. Target everyone in the world except blue-collar white male voters. She started off this week with a podcast called All the Smoke, hosted by former NBA players Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, two true political dynamos known for their expertise in complex international relations and knowledge of federal infrastructure issues. I'm joking, they're fucking idiots. For Barnes, if I mentioned every suspension and fine he received while on the court, I'd go bankrupt paying my staff overtime, so let's just focus on a few of my off-the-court favorites. In 2017, he pled guilty to fighting a woman and her boyfriend outside a New York nightclub. Then, just this year, he lost a TV analyst job after yelling at officials and confronting a student broadcaster at his son's high school game. Well, in 2010, he was arrested on felony domestic violence charges. And the coup de grace. In 2015, he drove 95 miles in the middle of the night to his estranged wife's house because he wanted to beat up her new boyfriend, NBA coach Derek Fisher.
Wow.
Sounds like he and Doug Emhoff could do a buddy comedy together.
I'm rolling.
And Steven Jackson, well, in addition to pleading guilty to felony charges in 2007 stemming from a strip club fight and firing his gun in the parking lot, maybe you remember a little something called Malice at the Palace.
He's absolutely out of his mind. And Steven Jackson slugging people in the crowd here.
Well, these are the kinds of amazing journalists Kamala chose to visit. Even they were wildly unimpressed with her incredible intellect.
That's crazy.
Right?
Let's just get this straight. Kamala Harris is so awe-inspiringly stupid that a man who literally went into the stands at an NBA game and punched a fan in the face was like, bro, I can't do this. But that was only the beginning of Kamala's magical mystery media tour. Next, she appeared on a podcast titled Call Her Daddy, which coincidentally is what Tim Walz says to himself before every public appearance with Kamala. The show is hosted by Gen Z influencer Alex Cooper, the leader of a fan base she has named the Daddy Gang. She's a good-looking lady who got famous for coining something called, this is actually for real, the Gluck Gluck 9000. The Gluck Gluck 9000 is apparently an oral technique she suggested to her fan base, which sounds like it would have gotten Kamala a position even more powerful than San Francisco District Attorney.
Wow.
Kamala Harris, I wanted to have you here today to talk about your positions, not only in politics, but also in the bedroom.
You know what the strongest weapon a woman has in this world?
The Gluck Gluck 9000.
Their voice. But I do carry a Glock.
In any case, Cooper has since undergone a full brand overhaul. She's signed deals worth hundreds of millions of dollars. She welcomes A-list guests like Gwyneth Paltrow and John Mayer onto her show to spill the goods on their private sex lives. So, with this type of risque reputation and an episode out just last week titled Blowjobs, Hall Passes, and Frat Daddies, what did Alex Cooper ask Kamala Harris that could be actually considered newsworthy or tantalizing? Well, nothing. I mean, she asked why Kamala is so awesome and also so special and also abortion.
Former President Trump recently told women, you will be protected and I will be your protector. What do you make of that?
I thought that she was going to ask her about, her sex life with Doug or something. But, who knows whether that exists. Anyway, there goes the media's sole opportunity to ask about Kamala's humble origin stories in San Francisco politics. This wasn't normal call her daddy fare or even a pivot to political content. It was somewhere in the robotic vanilla, kowtowing to the Democratic vibes overlord and feeding the DNC machine like the neighbors in the burbs tending to their basement furnace.
Man's furnace is his own business, eh?
At least when Trump went on Theo Vaughn, they talked about...
No, I would just do that was really, yeah. So not just, yeah.
That's down and dirty, right?
Yeah, and it was.
Well, fans tuned in to hear Kamala asked about unspeakable acts. Instead, they got Alex Cooper performing the Human Centipede 9000. We'll get to more Ben After Dark in a moment.
Wow, you guys, what are your thoughts on this video? Ben Shapiro is so funny in this particular one, and I'm enjoying every minute of this video. And what are your thoughts on Kamala Harris going on all the smoke podcasts? Do you think that is the right podcast for her? Okay, do you guys think that is the right podcast for her to go as a presidential candidate? Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below, and let's continue watching, you guys.
Next, Kamala brought her prearranged press charade to a man who's made a career out of being a liberal puppet for the past decade, the radio pioneer who turned the whack pack into the woke pack, Sirius Radio's Howard Stern. Howard Stern is now 70 years old, which means he spent his entire adult life making millions of dollars by asking women about their favorite bodily orifices. And here he has a grade A political asshole in front of him, and he genuflects. But old Howard has lost his sting, and possibly the use of his prostate. His edginess has gone missing, just like Ellen Page. In the same studio where Stern once instructed stars to sit on sex machines, donned blackface, called people smelly N-words, and joked that the Columbine shooters should have tried to have sex with their hot classmates before the attack, Stern asked Kamala about her favorite foods and whether Donald Trump was most like Hitler or like double Hitler. In return, Kamala talked about her late mother and gave us answers to trivia questions that will never be asked, like who her favorite Formula One driver is. You'll never guess it's Lewis Hamilton, not because he's black, that would be racist.
Does it come in black?
But yeah, because he's black. Stern also asked what she ate the night Trump beat Hillary Clinton, aside from it was actually a family-sized bag of Doritos, in case you care. The more interesting question would have been, what did she drink that night? Because that's the same answer as every day, a full bottle of rosé. And it doesn't take an election loss for Kamala to do that. You'd think at some point this candidate, just a month away from possibly being elected to the most important political position on planet Earth, would start talking about issues that matter at legitimate outlets that could challenge her lies and question her constantly changing opinions, right? Well, you'll be happy to hear she next went on The View. The roundtable, filled with screeching late 90s modems, did what they do best. Talk over each other, say awful things, kiss Democratic ass. But this time, to their credit, we did actually get one little soundbite of importance.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Kamala is so amazingly bad at this. She somehow threw up all over herself when she was asked an easy question by intellectual heavyweight Sonny Hostin. So again, she didn't distance herself from the policies of Joe Biden and her own administration. She actually doubled down. From her own mouth, she would have done the exact same things as her half-dead predecessor did.
We can't afford 4 more years of this.
I haven't seen this type of confusion around culpability since Shaggy was caught butt naked on the bathroom floor.
But you caught me on the counter.
Wasn't me.
Then Kamala wrapped up the night on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, a program whose journalistic bite can only be described as loose dentures sucking on a gummy worm. Stephen Colbert was, once upon a time, kind of funny. Then he decided to turn in his comedian card for a warm, soft place in Joe Biden's colon. And when Joe Biden could no longer hold in his bowels, Colbert migrated over to Kamala's colon. He's the polyp of late-night comedy. Anyway, they did things that normal humans do. You know, like sip Miller High Life.
You asked for Miller High Life. You asked for Miller High Life. I'm just curious.
Okay, the last time I had beer was at a baseball game with Doug.
Okay, so cheers.
Okay, cheers.
There you go. Ooh. That tastes like the beautiful city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
The champagne of beers.
There you go.
Kamala drinking Miller High Life looks about as uncomfortable as Michael Dukakis in a tank. Put that lady on a John Deere tractor and just call this election already. Honestly, it's all a little sad. Kamala could have had a nice life somewhere as a middle management HR person who nods seriously while the secretary cries about her sexist boss. But then she would have had to fire Doug Emhoff. Somewhere, Joe Biden is sitting on a lawn chair, crapping himself and thinking, even I could do better than this. Or, more accurately, And he ain't wrong. What's next for the Kamala Love Fest? Might I suggest an NPR Tiny Desk concert? Or one of those shows they air on the little TVs at gas station pumps? We don't know her favorite color yet. And some questions just need answers.
Wow, you guys, that was such an interesting one from Ben Shapiro. This was a comic relief, and Ben Shapiro really destroyed Kamala Harris in this particular video. Let me know your thoughts on this one. I really had fun reacting to this video, and I believe you guys also enjoyed watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.